Greetings and welcome. We are in 303 and we return now back to Craig Conrad's Unstoppable Volume Lesson 18, Bubble Gum. And we'll be talking now really quickly in your journals to start with. I first of all just want to make a point to you in your journals, please write this down, that the focus of this chapter, has to do with accepting responsibility. And in many ways that has to do with knowing yourself. Knowing yourself. All right? Now, Mr. Conrad is in many ways a modern day storyteller, where he will find stories in real life and he will consider them word pictures or metaphors. We're going to find one of them right here. And this was a kind of controversial chapter and word picture because of some of the things that Mr. Conrad suggests about responsibility. Let's take a look. I knew something was about to happen. I hope you're reading with me. I'm in, again, Unstoppable Volume, page 56, Lesson 18. I knew something was about to happen the minute they stepped out of the van. 3 adult couples, all drinking beer, walked into Taco John's, a Mexican restaurant in our community. While continuing to drink their beer, they placed their order. I quickly reasoned that if the parents were this undisciplined, what were the 7 little kids going to be like that followed them in? It didn't take long to find out. Instantly, they were drawn to the bubblegum machines, like moths to the light. 7 little monsters attacked. They tried turning the handles, lifting the doors in hopes of getting a free prize. None of them had any money. However, that didn't stop them. They clambered all over those machines until suddenly, the oldest one of the group, accidentally discovered the lid to the biggest machine of all wasn't locked. He just lifted it off. Lo and behold, directly beneath that lid were all the little treasures that seconds before were locked away. Now, they were free for the taking. At first, all 7 stopped what they were doing, perhaps in disbelief of their newfound gold mine and the opportunity that waited. Now, again, we can pause here for a moment and point out, this is obviously an easy word picture metaphor, isn't it? Right? Okay? We can obviously see that these are young children, but we can easily extrapolate to a word picture. Each of us in our own life has had a situation like this where something fell to us. We knew it was wrong, but it was something that could easily benefit us. And the question was, do I take it? Do I not take it? Let's take a look. I watched foolishly, thinking maybe one of them would have the discipline to tell their parents or the manager I was wrong. In a scene that could be best described as a shark feeding frenzy, they attacked. 7 vicious sharks, all trying to reach inside with both fins. Bubblegum and prizes were falling to the floor as they stuffed their pockets to the brim. In true pecking order, the smaller sharks had to circle around the bigger ones, picking up the scraps. Sitting beside me the entire time was my 3-year-old son, Colton. He didn't nudge me and say, "Check it out, Pops. Those guys don't have the master key," that is to say, self-discipline. Are you kidding? He wanted to join in too. So I gave him the look. You parents know what I mean. You don't have to say a word. You just give him the evil eye. He sat down. The feeding frenzy continued with no let-up. In the chaos, one of the plastic toy containers rolled over across the floor where Colton was sitting. He looked at me with pitiful eyes. I gave him the look again while shaking my head. No. What a mean dad. The parents, oblivious to the commotion, perhaps because they were drunk, continued drinking and ordering their food. Finally, one of the mothers saw the aftermath and told the kids to put them back. Ah, the moment of truth. What would these little sharks do? Can a feeding frenzy be reversed, I wondered. Slowly and very reluctantly, the sharks gave back their prey. As they filled the machine back up with the prizes, I watched one little girl. She stuffed her favorite prize deep into her pocket. When asked if she put it all back, she said nothing. She nodded her head yes. I watched really closely. Did I just see her nose grow like Pinocchio? The unstoppable you, Conrad says, knows the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And then, of course, the question, how are your apples? This is a very interesting little word picture. Let's finish with a couple of quick observations. Let's write these in our journals now. First, number 1, true honesty. Think about this. True honesty is not what you do when people are watching, when you're being recorded, videotaped. True honesty is what you do when no one is watching. That's true honesty. Of course, the challenge here, let's write it down. The challenge is to take responsibility for our actions, right? And Of course, this word picture suggests you can't control others' actions, but you can be a good example, a good role model, we might say, especially to younger kids, younger students. It's an interesting question. Are you prepared right now to say to a bunch of 5th graders, when you get to high school and you become a senior, I hope that you do it exactly the way I do it. Same kind of choices, same kind of decisions, same kind of values, same code. Now, if you say about that, yeah, no, I'm not prepared to say that to a bunch of 5th graders, I would say to you the following: it is too late. They are already watching. The way you learned how to be a high school student. Now, I realize some of you are not listening to me right now because what I'm saying bothers you. I understand that. I understand that. But hear what I'm saying. You learned to be a high school senior by watching high school seniors when you were very young. You did not go to the ball games to watch a ball game when you were young. You went to the ball game to watch how high school seniors walked, talked, acted. What they did. By the time you were in middle school, you were watching even closer. And by the time you got to high school, you were really watching to see, what does it mean to be a high school student? They're watching you. They're watching you right now, whether you want them to watch you or not. So we make an observation with a word picture like this. If you know you're being watched, then why not live a life worthy of the example? Why not? And the only answer, stay with me, the only answer, if you're not, is F-E-A-R. You're afraid. It's that simple. You're afraid. It isn't bold. It isn't courage. It's fear that leads you to behave in such a way that you will act this way, but you would tell a 6th grader, when you get to my age, I prefer you not to act this way. Of course, if you'll think about it, it's the #1 thing most high school seniors loathe about the adults in their life. You tell me to do one thing, and you do something completely the opposite. We got a word for that. It's called being a hypocrite, don't we? And high school seniors loathe that. They loathe that. I'm challenging you, aren't I? Mr. Conrad's challenging you here. What kind of life you live in? We can read about it. We can write about it in our journals. But the real question is, can we live it? Chapter 18, Unstoppable. Let's try. Let's try. Try and live a little bit better life than we've lived in the past. It's a good challenge, isn't it? Thank you.